Good morning. It's Tuesday. How are you? I feel so good and I'm so surprised because Miss Little Bailey was up. What is going on with my necklace? Do I have it on backwards? Miss Bailey was up at 4:40 and yesterday was Monday, you know, as Monday does before Tuesday. And she was up at 4 and I had a complete migraine. And I'm doing this experiment, which I'm doing a whole video on, so I'll share it with you later, probably next week, if I can get all the editing done. And so I was trying not to take my migraine medicine. Boy, did that backfire. I'm going in with my Purity wipes because it actually has cleanser in it. It's not a makeup removing wipe. It's an actual cleanser. And these are perfect for mornings when I didn't even wear makeup yesterday. So I'm just essentially like getting off my skincare and like sweat from last night. And then I'm gonna go in with my Olay whips. So yeah, yesterday I had my mom come over, which I actually haven't had a full-blown migraine. I shouldn't say it out loud, but I haven't had a full-blown migraine. That one even wasn't like full-blown. I wasn't like throwing up. Full-blown migraine for me is like puking, lights, sounds, like everything just physically hurts. It wasn't that bad, but I just couldn't keep my eyes open. And so anyway, I have to tell you a story. Man, the only thing that sucks, I'm going in with my Ordinary high adherence silicone primer, which would not be for my oily girls because it's silicone. I'm extremely dry, especially now that summer is in full swing. Today we're going to a mommy date. I guess that's what you would call it, like a play date. We're going to this place. It's called Lucy's at the Orchard. If you're local to Phoenix, it's so cool from what I hear. This will be my first time, but it's like a big, huge cafe, and it has like a gift shop, and outside they have a fenced-in splash pad so the moms can sit and drink coffee and eat little snackies while the kids play in the water. And because it's fenced in, like nobody can go anywhere. You don't have to like be hover mom if you don't want to. I personally hate being hover mom. I'd much rather let them just do them and, you know, kind of observe. But anyway, so I have a story to tell you, and I haven't told anybody. It's not that serious. So my mom came over on Friday, as she does, because Friday, as most of you will know, is therapy day for us, and it's a long day. Therapy, we have to leave here at like 11, between like 11:30 and 11:45, and it's a 45-minute drive over there. Therapy starts at 12:25, and he goes to occupational, and then it's about 55 minutes of therapy, and then he has an hour in between, and then we do speech therapy, and that's an hour, and then it's another 45-minute drive home. So it's a very long day on Friday. So my mom has to stay over here. She gets here at 11, and you know, so we made plans last Friday that we were going to go back over to her house to go swimming because it's, like I said, summer here. And so she is going to put her car in my garage when I leave because it's hot outside. And like I said, it's like 5 hours of me being gone. Well, 4 hours of me being gone, so why not? So we go to leave and Aiden's already in the car, and oh my gosh. So a hornet comes in. I don't know if it was, there's like wasps, hornets, and this one had like the longer body, so whatever that is, the aggressive ones. And it comes in the garage and it's like just chilling. I'm like, no, dude. Like, number one, my mom's terrified of those. Number two, if it gets in my house, like, I'm screwed. it'll make a nest, and you know, so I'm like, Mom, we have to get it out. And she's like, well, what do you want me to do? And so I have bug spray, and I go to spray it, and the freaking pump's not working. So I was like, ugh. So then I was like, well, I don't know what else to do, you know, and I don't want to touch it because, again, aggressive. So I told this whole story on Instagram. So I ended up spraying it with some, is it Miss Myers? I want to say it was Mrs. Myers. Cleaner, counter spray. And it flew out, but this whole entire time it was like me screaming, she was screaming, we were running, and you know, I ended up throwing the bottle because it went flying at me and then out of the garage, thankfully, and threw the bottle, jumped in the car, took off. So that was Friday. And if you don't remember, I had a whole episode with a scorpion in my garage the week before. It was paralyzed, but it was still kind of like moving. It was on its back, so I know it was gonna die. However, it was still alive, and if you like step on the stinger, it was a pretty decent sized one, but still. So I had to smash it with a hammer, and I was screaming bloody murder the entire time because I was just picturing it like scary movie jumping at me, you know? I don't know if they can jump, but that's just what I was picturing was it like coming at me. So I ended up smashing it with a hammer. And then I tried to like scoot it out of my garage with a piece of cardboard, and it wasn't working. And so I was screaming during that too. So Sunday, I go to dance class on Sundays, for anybody that may be new. My mom comes over and watches my kids right after church. And then we usually after that we'll go over to her house and we'll barbecue, and it works out really nice because my mom gets like some one-on-one time with Aiden, because usually Bailey goes like right to sleep afterwards, and after church. And so, you know, my mom gets some really nice one-on-one time with Bailey on Fridays when Aiden and I go to therapy, and then she gets some really good one-on-one time with Aiden on Sundays. And so it's really, really nice. Plus I get some alone time, mommy time, and it's just nice. And so then we do like typically family time afterwards, like all of us, my mom, my dad, both the kids. It just works out really nice. So I get home and I walk around the front of my car and go in, and you know, everyone's pretty much ready to go. We get the kids, put them in the car, and my mom goes around the back of my car and she was like, what is that? Now, I'm scared of things, a lot of things, as far as like creatures, you know, spiders, snakes, scorpions, things that fly that aren't pretty, like bees, wasps, yellow jackets, all of that. When I say pretty, I mean like butterflies don't scare me, dragonflies don't scare me, although some dragonflies are mean. I remember in Arkansas they used to bite us on the water. I don't know what kind of dragonfly it was, but they used to bite or sting. Anyway, and I was like, what is what? Now, I have a exterminator come every other month, and he lays down glue traps. So the garage isn't open yet, and it's kind of dark, and what it looks like to me is a mouse, which I'm just freaking out. Had mouse interactions in other homes when we lived on base in DC. And like, that was terrifying. I stood up on a table for probably about an hour because one ran through my living room, and I stood up there until my husband got home. I'm not ashamed of it. So it looks like a mouse to me, and I'm like freaking out. I can't, you know, it's not moving at all. And so I'm like, is it already dead? And my mom was like, you know, and my mom's like, how did you not see it? I was like, dude, I walked around the front of the car. She was like mad at me, like I put it there. I was like, okay, listen, you get in the car with the kids. I'm gonna open the garage so I can see what it is, and I'll just kick the trap out. So I open the garage, and it's a lizard. And immediately my whole entire like thought process changed. Mind you, this is Andrew's day off, and I had called him and was like freaking out. I was like, it's a mouse, I don't know what to do. I had no idea what he was gonna do to help me. He's literally like thousands and thousands of miles away. Just, moral support. And so I was like, what do I do? And he was like, you're gonna have to do this, get on some gloves. And he, like, when I thought it was a mouse, wanted me to like free it. I was like, you're out of your mind if you think I'm gonna free this mouse. I'm not a killer of creatures if I can help it, but if it's harmful to me or my home, like when I say me, like my kids, my family, and then my house, like it's gonna destroy my house, like no, I'm not gonna free it, dude. I'm gonna let nature take its course. And so I open up the garage and it's a lizard, and I tell Andrew it's a lizard, and he was like, you can't just let it sit there. And I was like, well, it may be dead. And so I look, and his little eyes are like doing the little shutter thing, and his tail and his back leg is stuck on the glue trap. And I was like, man. Now, the reason why I'm not really afraid of lizards, even though they move fast and I'm not like wanting one as a pet, it's like a kind of nice relationship because he eats all the bugs that I'm not a fan of and don't want anywhere near me ever. Lizards, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Enjoy meals, keep my house clean, thanks. And so I immediately feel bad. I'm no longer scared. And I'm like, okay, seriously, what do I do now? And so Andrew's like looking up articles on how to get animals off of glue traps. And he's like, you're going to have to use some of this. I can't remember what he said at first. And then he was like, what about some olive oil? I was like, I can do olive oil. So I go in to my house and get some olive oil. I get gloves on because I don't know if he's going to like scratch me or anything. And I know that there's some lizards that bite. He was pretty big. I wish I would have gotten a picture of it, but I was on the phone, like I said, with Andrew. And he was like, I said, babe, I can't pull it off. Like, even though I'm okay with him and I want him to live and I'm all about saving him, I can't do it myself. Like, I can't physically like pull him off. Like, I just can't do it. I feel bad, that he's even on here. And so he was like, okay, so put him in a bucket, pour the olive oil like just on the little thing, and he's like, and just take him over to your parents' house and have your dad do it. And I was like, okay. So I tell my mom to get into the driver's seat, and she was like, okay, and she sees me put it in the bucket and she starts shaking her head. I'm like, yes. And she's like, so I open the door, she's like, you are not getting in the car with that lizard. And I was like, I have to. She was like, put him in the trunk. I was like, no, I already put the olive oil on him. What if he gets loose and he's in the trunk and then like gets in the car somehow? And she was like, so I like put something over the bucket, obviously, so he couldn't get loose. I put a paint tin that you put the paint in, over it. And my mom was literally so terrified. I felt so bad for her and the lizard because she is terrified of them. She doesn't like how fast they move. And I was like, Mom, you have to have a relationship with lizards. And she's like, I leave them on my wall. I don't want to kill them or anything. She's like, but I don't want it in the car with me. So we get all the way to my mom and dad's house, which is literally a block away for anybody who maybe knew. I live very close to my parents. And so we get there and my dad comes outside and he thinks I'm like videoing it for Instagram or, just taking a video of it. And so he was like super irritated and was like, get the camera out of my face. And I was like, Dad, it's Andrew. Jerk. He was like, oh, hey, how's it going, son? I don't know why they do not take social media. They hate social media and they don't believe in me trying to do it as a full-time job. They don't take it serious at all. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion. So my dad literally picks him up barehanded, puts the trap on the ground, and his little foot got free and he took off without his tail. And I started screaming because the tail was like still moving, and which Andrew told me once I calmed down that was a defense mechanism, so that way the predator is still after the tail and it gets a chance to like get away. And I was like, what? It was like still moving like a chicken when you cut its head off. And so all of this happens. 3 different incidents: scorpion, hornet, flying evil, and then this lizard, all in my garage. And I was like, thinking about it later, I was like, my neighbors must think that I am absolutely nuts. I'm just like this lady who's constantly screaming at wildlife in her garage. Like, they have to think I'm nuts. They have to. No sane person just screams like a freaking maniac, like they're getting murdered. That's how I was, man, when you should see me with the scorpion, because I've been very, very lucky in not having any interactions with them. I'm sure I told you, I can't remember who I tell what to on Instagram or on the vlog. You know, my parents had them inside their house when we were living there, and luckily it's always been Andrew who finds them. Like, I've never had to physically look at one, because I just know it'll give me nightmares and I won't be able to sleep, because I will think that I feel one crawling on me. I'm just like that person that makes stuff up like that in their mind, you know, like their mind plays tricks on them as soon as they know. And so I haven't had to have any interactions, but I was glad that I had already had the kids in the car and everything, because, you know, they totally could have stepped on it and gotten hurt. And scorpions, from what I hear, is like a scorpion sting is the most painful thing. It literally feels like your wherever you got stung is on fire. So when I went to smash it with a hammer, I was just like a call to the wild, like, whoa, like guttural, you know, like I was getting murdered, essentially. So that's my story time. And I've only gotten to my brows. That took 20 minutes just because I couldn't do it at the same time. So, I already told you where we're going today. We also have, I have to go to Whole Foods for a campaign, which I'm so excited about. They give you the option to do it in store, but I feel like that does not suit me or my audience at all. Like just me chilling at a store buying stuff. I'd much rather show you how to like use something, me enjoying something. As cool as it was to like do a campaign in Target, number one, my mom is terrible at taking photos. The lighting in there was terrible. I even took that photo down because it just like, ew, it didn't look like my style at all. But there's only so much you can do with that lighting and like the backgrounds, and it was just really weird. But I really wish I could have just like shown you guys those protein cookies at home, and you know, like a picture of the kids enjoying them or whatever. I have this idea in my head that when Andrew gets home, I'll have so many more photo opportunities and I'll truly be able to like get into the Phoenix scene. Like we can go to really fun restaurants and, you know, really fun places and go on adventures, because it'll be me and him. And that's what I'm like thinking in my mind. And I don't know why, because my husband is not a go out and go person, like get out and go kind of person. But I told you guys that him and I had like a discussion of kind of meeting in the middle and doing some outings and some home stuff, because we weren't doing a whole lot of going out. When he was here, we were very, not stuck in our ways, but like, well, I already told you, you know, he would play his video games and I would do my YouTube, and that was like our compromise. We didn't invest in each other enough. And you always realize stuff like that when like the person's gone. And you know, we'll probably slip back into old ways and stuff like that, but anywho, we're planning on going to Disney for Aiden's 5th birthday, which isn't until April of next year, so it literally just passed. But I think to start saving for it now would be nice. We're probably not gonna get a car until maybe the end of this year either, because just financial things came up, especially with freaking Kea and that whole surgery situation, that really sucked and took up a big part of our savings. And I just don't feel, I don't know, I don't think we're gonna get a car right away. I don't think we'll get one until probably like Christmas time, when they have like really good specials, or Black Friday, like in November. I'm using my Too Faced Bon Bon palette, just for anybody who's curious. I'm not doing heavy makeup just because, you know, it's a bunch of moms and we're gonna be outside and drinking coffee and stuff like that, but I enjoy a good face of makeup, so I'm gonna do one regardless, but I'm just not gonna go above and beyond. Just a little definition, but I'll probably do a wing just because I haven't actually done one in a really long time. And I have quite a bit of talking to do on Instagram later. And you guys know I don't feel like I'm a person that has to have makeup on, but I really like it. And why not? And both of my kids are still asleep right now because, oh, I was telling you that Bailey was up at 4:40 this morning. And I laid there to see if she would go back to sleep, and she didn't. And so I went and got her and brought her into my bed, and we just laid there, and she was like talking and laughing, and she actually like was calm though and laid down. If you're new, my daughter Bailey, who's 1, is an absolute nut. And she's just constantly go. She like doesn't spend a lot of time on anything. She doesn't hardly ever sit still, and she doesn't walk. She runs everywhere she goes. She's just full of life. She's very vivacious. And so for her to like just lay in the bed with me and just, you know, like touch my face and my hair and talk and giggle, it was so nice. And I feel like that maybe that's why I just felt so good, instead of like headache-y. And so her and I came downstairs after a little while, probably around 6 o'clock, and 7:30ish hit, and she was like furious at the world. And so I laid her back down, and so she's sleeping, and Aiden didn't wake up at all through any of it, so go for Aiden, you know. I don't know if I told you guys or not, that we're starting at home swim lessons, and it's private because my mom was watching Daystar, which is like a Christian, I don't know if it's like a whole network or just a program, and they had, I think she said 3 or 4 families on who lost children in drowning accidents, and how it like happens. Every single one of them said the same exact thing, like it happened so fast there wasn't even time to react or to obviously save the child, because each one of them suffered a loss. And you know, one snuck out through the doggy door, which my parents have a doggy door, and luckily in the state of Arizona, they have this law where if you do your pool legally and do all the right permits and everything, you have to have a special type of door where there's like a 2-handle mechanism. So you have like a traditional sliding glass door, just has like the handle, you pull on it and it opens, slides open, sliding glass door. Well, there's a second mechanism where there's like a lever that you pull to the side to open it, and it locks it, and it has to be like a certain amount of feet up. Oh, here goes a fire truck. It has to be a certain distance, you know, from the floor, and that way small children can't reach it. And so they luckily have that in place, so you know, the chances of the kids slipping out the back door are very minimal. I'm not saying impossible, because nothing is impossible. We went to a swim school 2 years ago when we very first got to Phoenix. Aiden wasn't even 2 yet, and they had this one called XOXOX, and it was like still private lessons, but it was like in a class. It wasn't private, it was in a class format, or you could pay for private lessons, which private lessons were like really expensive. It was really far away, and it started out fine. We really enjoyed it, but towards the end they raised the prices by like $5, which isn't a lot, but when it was already so much. And then they changed instructors on us. The one that we had was perfect for Aiden. She was stern, but she was never like mean or anything. You just need like a firmer hand with Aiden because he'll try and like walk all over you essentially. They changed instructors and she was like really nice, which I'm not saying you can't be nice to Aiden, that sounds stupid, but she would be really nice, and then she would get so frustrated because he was taking advantage. He would just kind of walk all over her because she was so nice. He would like, you know, dick around and whatever. And so I'm gonna use the Scandinavia finishing spray. I haven't used it in forever. And my fan that Miss Nessa got me, look at how pretty that is. Anyways, she got like rough with him. She would get like super irritated and just like and throw him out of the pool and have him sit on the side. And I was like, no ma'am, you cannot put your hands on my kid. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if he's like being a danger to somebody or himself and like you need to spank him. Like, I don't really mind other people disciplining my kid in that setting. Like, she's the authority, she's the instructor. Like, yeah, absolutely. Something like that. But not, you know, where you get irritated because he's playing. And he wasn't like jumping off the step or anything. He was just like kind of splashing around and, you know, like wouldn't do exactly what she told him when she told him to do it. And so I just simply refused to go back after we had Bailey. And so we found these private lessons, and I don't even want to tell you how expensive they are. And it took, if you want to look and see, go to sensationalswimschool.com, I think it is, and they're nationwide. It's like a, you know, it's like a, what do I want to call it? It's essentially like a third party, kind of like how Ambassador is. It's like a forum or a platform where if you're certified, you can go on there and you get paid. It's so expensive, you guys, but my mom wanted to pay for it because number one, it's her house, and you know, that's where it is more likely to happen. And so they come to the pool though, like at your house, and teach you how to, or the kids, how to swim. And they also do everything in their power to teach the kids how not to drown specifically. So they'll put them in like a full set of clothes and like put them in the middle of the pool, teach them how to like turn over on their backs to float, the steps, like the physical steps, where they are in the pool, and how to get out on their own. So it's gonna be really interesting because Bailey isn't really a water kid like Aiden is. Aiden like could live in the pool if you let him, but Bailey, like as soon as you put her in, she goes, all done? All done? And then she'll be like, up to get out of the water. So she's not my water baby at all. I just love how simple this looks. And I love that freaking shimmer color. It's called Satin Sheets. Which, man, this freaking Tarte Maneater mascara gives such good length and volume. Like, look at these lashes. But it is already getting dry, which is not typical for a mini mascara. They usually last a good while. This one's like, and it's already, look, there's like already flakes. Sometimes I'm wrong, you guys. I always have stood by my minis are better mantra when it comes to mascara, especially. Look at all those flakes. It's only gonna get worse once I put my glasses on. And I wasn't a real huge fan of the NARS, what is this called? Climax or some crap, because it's so freaking big. And so it's usually makes like a big old mess. It gets like all underneath my eyes. But I think lower lashes make a huge difference. I know there's some ladies out there that like cannot put mascara on their lower lashes, and I just don't know how they do it. I feel naked without them. I mean, it's all about personal preference, and that's the beauty of makeup, is that you can do it however the heck you want. Because at the end of the day, it comes off. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm going to put anything on my lips right now because I'm still drinking coffee and I'm not leaving yet, but I think I will put on a little bit of some lip, where's that Dior one that I like? There it is. I'm just gonna put on this like chapstick kind of. It's the Dior Sugar Scrub. It's technically the Dior Addict Lip Sugar Scrub. And it has a little bit of a tint in it, but I'm not gonna keep. It smells really good too, and it does exfoliate. It has like little bits in it, so when I go to brush my teeth, I can just wipe it off. And this is today's finished look. Not bad for a mom date. I don't feel too overdone because it's not like a dark, dramatic, like smoky eye, but I love a good wing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this little story time. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you are new, hello and welcome. My name is Brittany Cocco. You are watching the Cocco channel. Please subscribe if you are not already, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!